Bonsoir, my dudes. How on earth are you? I hope whatever you've been up to this week, your heart's been filled with love for your fellow man.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Juice for Jesus? Oh!
Welcome back to another Soul Singer Discovers. Today on Soul Singer Discovers, we're going to be discovering something bite-sized. But before we do, Metalhead Musings. Today's Metalhead Musings comes from Zane Wells. Zane Wells says, I see your husband is into Scream Factory, judging by the posters. Okay. Now, Zane, I know you're only trying to be nice and start a conversation, I think. But these posters, they're mine. This array of books on vampires with at least 5 copies of Dracula, they are also mine. This nightlight of Coochie Copy from Bob's Burgers is also mine. I am what the French call a geeky McGeekenstein. These posters are mine. I do love horror movies. I am not married, but I do have a partner and he loves me very much. But I can't be trusted to be married because if I do get married, I will have to murder him because that's what you're supposed to do, right? And even though my partner likes to make fun of me that I've only ever seen 15 movies, I have actually seen a lot of movies because I do love movies, which is why I started a new channel called Mel at the Movies. It's going to be a channel all about me narrating, commenting, and comedically taking down some movies that I have seen and some movies that I have not. Why not head over and subscribe? You know, if you don't want to be a fucking asshole about it. Today on Soul Singer Discovers, we're going to be discovering Devin Townsend again. Oh, but this time's just going to be a wee short one. We're going to be looking at Devin in his studio recording some vocals. Now, I know there's a lot of live stuff that Devin does. I know he did some stuff for Lockdown. I also know that he's got like a documentary series that I'm definitely going to watch. It looks fascinating. But today we're going to do a little short one. Now, it's just a short one. I am going to interrupt it. Now, I realise that some people get confused and put comments where they're like, why are you interrupting this? I'm trying to watch it. It's a reaction channel, Shirley. That's why. Otherwise, you can just go and watch the video. Jesus. So I am going to be interrupting it. So let's have a look at how Devin does things when he's recording. Okay, here we go. Fuck me up, Devin.
As we live to right the wrongs, never to return. As we live to right the wrongs, never to return. Then the truth hits you hard. Right the wrongs, never to return. Then the truth hits you hard.
Okay, pausing right there. I will always be eternally impressed and respectful to those vocalists that do a lot of distortion. I also think it's super cool when people do both melodic and distorted vocals. We've talked about it a lot over the past little while. But I think the thing that with Devin that is so impressive is that his distortion feels really, really harsh, but he always disappears back into a melodic vocal that feels completely uninterrupted and unfazed by the really heavy stuff that's happening. Now, I understand that that is technique. That's what happens. We've talked about it again before. I use a lot of squall and it's not dissimilar to what Devin's doing. And I can go into squall and back out of squall into a clean note. Also, hint for a tip. If you are singing and you're using distortion and melodic vocals, or even if you're not using the melodic, if you do distortion and you can't return to a clear tone, whether it's talking or singing, you're absolutely doing it wrong. You must stop immediately because you are going to do yourself some damage. You'll probably notice that when I talk, I have natural distortion in my voice. I've had it since I was like a teenager. I can't keep the distortion out of my voice, but that's not a result of damage. That's a result of natural timbre. I think with Devin, it's just super impressive the way that he's able to go in and out of it so effortlessly. I also noticed that when he's doing this, he's using a click track. One of the things that I find really interesting in a lot of vocalists is their phrasing. I think phrasing is incredibly important. I think also as a vocalist, having really great rhythm is super important, but more so phrasing is important. And I really do think click tracks for songs that are faster, basically songs that are incredibly rhythmic, driving, I really do think it's important for singers to use click tracks. The amount of singers I've met though that don't use them when they're recording, I'm like, how? Like, I understand the concept of performing without a click track. I do it every single week, at least 3 or 4 times, but I just think in a recording situation where you want to limit the amount of loosey-goosiness, you know what I mean? And it's also interesting watching him do vocals over his own vocals. But then Devin's songs are always huge, always. Let's keep going. Boop. It's concentration.
The truth hits you hard. Hard. Truth hits you hard. So we.
Yeah, he changed, he modified. So like he tried it with the distortion and didn't like it. And so, or maybe he didn't not like it, he just wanted to layer some more. I'm not sure. But adding in that melodic part, the truth hits you hard. It sounded beautiful. It sounded really beautiful. And again, he's flipping between the two with no issues whatsoever. And he uses, I've noticed as well in this video, the breath that he's taken beforehand. I can't tell if he's sitting down or standing up. I know he's looking at a monitor, so I'm willing to believe he's sitting down. Ordinarily, to most singers, I would say if you're recording or performing, you should stand up. It stops you from crushing your diaphragm, gets you more support in what you're doing. But again, for every rule there is to vocals, there's a singer who defies that rule, which is why you'll always hear me saying that I don't think vocals is an exact science. And I don't trust vocalists who treat it as such, because I just don't believe it is. I've met plenty of vocalists who are 60 years old with the cleanest, most beautiful tone, but they smoke 40 a day and drink Guinness. I've met vocalists who are 20 years old and they're having severe vocal problems for a kind of style that someone else is doing without issue. It's all genetics. It's all genetics. And Devin has those genetics. Let's keep going. Boop. Oh. Oh, what did he do at the end that was ouch? I don't know what he did at the end that was ouch. I've just looked at the description and it says, ouch, just want to play bass. Samesies. Yeah, the distortion at the end of going from the clean into the distorted is so good. It's so good. And it's also, you'll notice, articulation's incredibly long. I think any vocalist who wants to try and sing things that are quite belty and quite twangy, you're going to have to think about very long articulation, or at the very least bigger articulation than you're used to, just because it's so easy to not do that and then cause strain from trying to sing something really big, like kind of doing this or gripping or all of that stuff. I think what I talk about with a lot of vocalists is the best way to think about when you're having melodic vocals that you want to disappear into distortion is to think about relaxing more. It's like you're almost letting the note go. I'm going to have to take the microphone well away from me. So yeah, a lot of the time I just think about it as relaxing more. And again, you'll notice that when I go back to my regular talking voice, I can still create a clear tone. My voice sounds normal. Again, any issues with this stuff, you have to stop immediately. Yeah, I just think Devin's really impressive. I think that it's interesting watching him do this layering thing where he's putting several vocals over the top. I love the intensity with which he's watching what he's doing, and I love that he's sort of mouthing along the words while he does it. I think the whole thing's cool as shit, and I think we should return to more of his stuff and some of the documentary. The documentary Transcendence, I think it's maybe 8 parts. I'm not totally sure. But let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Should we go through the documentary series? What other Devin Townsend should I be listening to? What's your take on it? Do you enjoy watching vocalists do their process in the studio? Because watching guitarists do their thing in studios and all the rest of it is 10 a penny. But watching vocalists do it is a little bit more niche. So what do you guys think? I think it's so good. He's so good. And I have seen him live. I saw him live in Glasgow at the O2 Academy. Was it the O2 Academy? It was the O2 Academy. And it was not long after lockdown finished, properly finished. None of this phase return, properly finished. And it was a smaller setup. I think there was only 5 members of the band, but it was amazing. And he can do it live. And it was out of this world. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. As always, thank you to my patrons. Who have made it so that I can have things like a new headphone and a new microphone. Ooh, fancy. Thank you, of course, to all of you for your continued sharing, liking, subscribing and commenting. For those of you who haven't already, please go and subscribe. Or the next time you get out of the bath, you might bash your knee. Did I do that? We'll never know. Until next time, my dudes, relax into it for God's sake.